celebrating 15 years of SnowSeekers, so hit me with the best story ever.
All right, so I mean, here's the story about how I got pulled over for speeding with Eddie the Eagle. So, I mean, not a lot of people might know this, but we were actually founded out of the 2010 Olympics, and that connected us in with a whole bunch of different Olympic shenanigans that have happened across Western Canada over the last 15 years. Not only, we can chat about this in a second in terms of the impact of like being on site in Whistler and catching up with the Olympics in 2010, but how about 2026 for Calgary and working on the Olympic bid in 2018? And my gig is to go and pick up Eddie the Eagle at the airport in Calgary and take him to his hotel.
The Eddie the Eagle, right? Like
we're talking the Eddie the Eagle,
Eddie.
right? The guy with the movie, Hugh Jackson, like the whole shebang of this guy who was a bricklayer in the UK who just all of a sudden got stoked on skiing. And the next thing you know, he was flying like an eagle for the Olympics. And so nonetheless, I get a chance to go and hang with this guy, pick him up at the airport. It's a huge hoo-ha. The press are there. It's this big deal because we're working on bringing the Olympics to Calgary. This is in 2026, and it should be happening in a couple of years, but didn't. But anyways, I am taking care of the guy. So Eddie the Eagle shows up. All the press are there. I'm like, hey, Eddie, my name's Doc Pow. I'm going to be taking care of you. He's like, oh, I'm in good form. I got Doc Pow with me. I'm like, yeah, man, I got you covered here. So let's go. We'll get you into town, get you all settled at your hotel. Of course, we're just chatting. We're driving to the airport. I'm not paying attention. I'm driving away. Of course, it's Eddie the Eagle. I'm stoked. The next thing you know, woo, because we just drove through a speed trap coming out of the Calgary airport. He looks at me. I look at him. I'm like, oh, no, what is going on here? And not even in the car for 3 minutes. And we're already pulled over for speeding. And I'm driving. I got Eddie the Eagle in shotgun. The cop comes up or the police officer comes up to the window. I'm like, hey, man, how's it going? He's like, well, I got you for speeding. And I'm like, well, I got Eddie the Eagle with me shotgun. He's like, what? He goes, yeah. I'm like, yeah, I got Eddie the Eagle. He's right here. And Eddie waves at him and he turns around. He's like, hold on a second. So he goes and he gets his buddy from the other side, like the other police officer who was actually dealing with someone else who had a ticket in front of us. He's like, hold on a second. He goes and he talks to his buddy, the police officer. They come back and he's like, can I get you out of the car? And instantly your heart goes to your throat, right? And he goes, yeah, I need you to get out of the car so that you can take a picture of me and my buddy with Eddie. Because
yeah, of course.
They ended up growing up together on the same streets because his buddy was from the UK as well. And they were from the same town and literally from the same neighborhood. So it's all kinds of shenanigans you get into at SnowSeekers. And it's sure been an awesome run. So there you go.
What was it like when SnowSeekers started? What was happening? How did this whole thing get going?
All right, so how about the most ridiculous fact of all this? We're talking on a smartphone right now with this video camera going and all the tech behind this. We're talking like 2008. So we're talking about like the iPhone had been around for like a year. Facebook had been around for a year. People were still posting about what they had for breakfast on social media, and that was the big deal. So here we came with this online magazine or opportunity for people to get outside and enjoy the outdoors and connect people. Because with the Olympics, how we had it in 2010, there was never a better time to launch something like that because people were seeking. They wanted to become finders of winter experiences, just like we all want to do right now. I mean, who doesn't want to be right here, right there, right now? So get here. Use SnowSeekers to be your vehicle in order to make those discoveries. And it's why we started, and we're still doing the same thing 15 years later.
It's amazing. And I do want to talk about the fact that you're called Doc Pow. So it's a legendary name, Doc Pow. I got to know, how does the Doc Pow come into play? Like, where did you get this ski name, and how can I get my own ski name?
All right. So the whole idea of a ski name is not something that you just name yourself first and foremost. It comes to you based on experience and being in the mountains and being on snow. So here I am up in Terrace. So North BC, amazing place, unbelievable POW, home to Shames Mountain, home to a heli ski operation called Northern Escape. And I'm out with and I'm out on this heli escape day, and I'm having the best time of my life. And the next thing you know, I'm going off about the POW, and I'm chatting around, and I'm like, oh man, the snow is so light, it's so fluffy. And someone turns around, and they're like, man, you're like a doctor of snow. And I was like, you mean like a doctor of powder? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, wow, you mean like Doc Pow? And they're like, yeah, Doc Pow, that's it. You're like a doctor of powder. There it is. Doc Pow is it. So it's just something that it comes to you based on your time out on the hill. So if you don't have a ski name yet and you're out there and you're like, oh man, I want a name, it'll come to you. Just go out and get on the slopes and it'll show up. I promise.
Yeah, I guess you've gotta get your buddies together. You gotta be chatting on the chairlift. You gotta be like really out there doing your favorite things, and then it's just gonna happen.
Well, I mean, that's part of the best part. I mean, another highlight to this to the 15 years is running into folks like Nurse Groomer, and the guy who goes and takes his 2 months, 3 months, and he ends up skiing around at all 78 of Alberta and BC's places where you can buy a lift ticket. I mean, who else is going to do that? Like every single place he went to across Alberta and BC, he announced it where he said, "Oh, I got all 78 or 77, sorry," and someone called him out on it, and they said, "No, you didn't get the Tweedsmuir Ski Club up in Bella Coola."
Ooh.
So the next thing you know, we're on a plane with our friends from Pacific Coastal Airlines going up to Bella Coola to go and hit the Tweedsmuir Ski Club. This is a little place where you literally have to book your time in order to go skiing, because someone needs to show up and run the generator in order to run the tow rope to get you to the top of the hill. So here we are showing up in Bella Coola, Nurse Groomer and I, so that you could get a 78 places across Alberta and BC that you can buy a lift ticket. There's a heli ski company up there called Bella Coola Heli. Well, the heli ski guide goes and grabs our gear, and we're like, "Oh no, we're not going heli skiing with you. We're here to ski Tweedsmuir." And he still looks at us up and down. And he's like, "What are you talking about?" And we're like, "Yeah, man, we're here to rip Tweedsmuir." Well, the place is not even a 300, 400 vertical. And
Oh
it's
my
just those
gosh.
kind of places. But it has an amazing log cabin that you can rent and stay in. The Tweedsmuir Ski Club, if anybody needs a new destination, it's all in the north.
Yeah, and I feel like that's one thing that SnowSeekers really know, that sure, it's about the powder, it's about the runs, it's about getting out on the Nordic trails, but it's also about the après, it's also about the community, it's about those like cozy cabins you get to discover and just, have the full winter experience where you're not just trapped at home, I don't know, watching movies or whatever. And talking about all these different experiences. So we want to find Doc Pow's 5 memorable SnowSeekers moments over the last 15 years. And I'm gonna guess probably the origin and getting started with the Winter Olympics is one of those top 5. Can you run us through what was going through your mind as things were getting started with SnowSeekers? Like, I think the iPhone had just come out as like a smartphone iPhone, and like it was really a way different digital landscape back then.
Yeah, and it was a bit forward thinking in terms of where we were going to be 15 years from now, like as of today in 2023 or 2024. Because again, it was so young in terms of the digital media space. I mean, here we were. I rented a trailer in 2008, 2 years before the Olympics, and had a camp spot in Whistler because I knew we needed to have a presence there so that we could bring our community and audience to a front row at the Olympics. So we had this trailer, and we had 3 or 4 of us that were all working out of this trailer in the middle of February. We had our Nordic skis in the trailer space, so we would Nordic ski into the village and then get on our snowboards and get to work covering the Olympics and all the fun. And here we were, and next thing you know, we had CTV show up to do a future of media, and here we are, a bunch of yahoos working away in this trailer, bringing people social media updates from the Olympics when everybody else was posting about what they had for breakfast.
Yeah, the future of media, and like now we're living in that future. And actually, I've been with SnowSeekers for a few years now, and over the years that I've been with the crew, there's been some really memorable moments that I've got to witness and evolve. And one of those that I could point out that probably is a memorable moment for you as well is celebrating the North. Like northern communities and northern ski hills and resorts and all these places that maybe wouldn't necessarily be on your hit list if you're just hitting the Whistlers and the big resorts of the world, but are so valuable and make such a memory. And I know Ski North BC is one of the big collaborations that we do with some northern communities and northern ski resorts. And maybe you can tell us a little bit about how that's evolved for you from, recognizing the North to now it's like such a huge part of SnowSeekers to celebrate northern communities.
Hey, I don't knock you if you're out there as a snow seeker heading to Japan or Colorado or any of these places, but I got to throw it back on you and be like, have you ever been to Powder King? What about Marmot Basin? Like, what about some of these places across the northern part of our province of British Columbia or Alberta? The question is why? Like a place like Powder King, man, that place is legendary in terms of the amount of pow that place shows up with. A spot like Smithers, I mean, you don't get much more soul than that. You can show up at Smithers at Hudson Bay Mountain. You can wax your skis at the the Bulkley Valley Brewery. It's Dave. You got to go see him when next time you're in Smithers and tell him Doc Pow sent you. I'll probably give you some stickers. He makes really good stickers. Anyways, they got a place where you can wax your skis and board in the brewery at the Bulkley Valley Brewery in Smithers, and the mountain looks over top of the community. I mean, spots like Nighthawk in Grand Prairie, you're like, what? Nighthawk? But yeah, they got glow tubing where they put laser lights over top of the or the snow tubing and everything. And I mean, the people there, I mean, nothing wrong with us in the South, but I mean, you want to get into the hospitality and the warmth and the real true value of a travel experience where you really connect with locals, head north, get on a road trip. Just search the hashtag Ski North BC, search the hashtag Ski North AB. Oh, can you see him? We had a runaway there, the snowboard. Oh, did he get it? Did he get it? Did he get it?
Oh, yeah, we're watching this live happening now.
Oh, did he get it? Oh, he's got it.
Nice.
Yeah, there we go. Hold on to your gear, folks. Don't be losing it on the hill.
Yeah, the straps for the snowboard and the skis on the boots are very handy.
Yeah, so I mean, that's why we do what we do at SnowSeekers. We just want to inspire people to get outside to new places and get on the road. So, you know, spots like the North and spots like different places around the province in both Alberta and BC. There's so many different great spots. Like we said, Nurse Groomer, he's hit all 78. How many of you hit?
Yeah, I mean, my proud moment in my SnowSeekers or my snowboarding career is that one time I followed a storm for 2 weeks across a new resort every night, just hitting all that powder, and like, wow, your skill level just increases an insane amount when you're hitting a ton of new terrain all the time. And like getting so many options in Western Canada is amazing. And that actually reminds me of another big project with SnowSeekers, the New Ski AB, hashtag New Ski AB project that has been going on for a few years. Jim, that's got to be one of the top moments for SnowSeekers. Can you tell us about, you know, what was that like and what was going on there? I mean, I can give more of an intro, but I think you've got that in your heart here.
Well, New Ski AB is a whole forum that kind of came out. Punch it up. Look at Sunny on the Slopes for SnowSeekers. Just Google that. If you haven't had a chance, it was our first ever documentary we did 14 years ago. We're 15 years strong. And in the first year, we did a documentary with a 7-year-old or a 9-year-old gal from Mongolia. I literally had to walk in with my laptop and Warren Miller to show exactly what we wanted to do with his daughter, because we wanted to put her in a learn to ski program. This is all inspired by Nancy Green. We were at this, every year we got this rally called the Canada West Ski Areas Conference, and it brings together all the folks that are in the biz, and we all do a brain jam. Anyways, Nancy Green was at the podium, and she was like, there's too many white people on the slopes. We need to do something to diversify and bring more opportunities for folks from other nations and or from other communities onto the snow. And so we've created this documentary, and then fast forward into the Olympics in 2026, we were working with Immigrant Services Calgary in terms of the support for the bid. And then the next thing you know, it's like, hey, wait a minute. What about working collectively with some of the ski resorts and putting out an invitation, breaking down some of the barriers? We had Linda Huang up in Edmonton who helped us out in a big way. She got us into Value Village, and she showed the audience and our community, about the whole concept, about the fact that this doesn't have to cost a lot of money. You can go and get a deal on secondhand equipment. You can go and buy a new ski suit in Value Village or someplace and just get out on the snow and enjoy what it's all about. And it helps to really equate yourself to why you're here and being outside in the wintertime. It doesn't matter if you're new to the province or if you're new to Western Canada or if you've lived here your whole life. It's just New Ski AB, it was called, in order to encourage more people to just get on the skis or the snowboard for their first time and learn what this world is all about. Man, this is it. Look at that. The peregrine.
And it is
morning.
So special. I was an adult learner as well.
Absolutely.
I totally sympathize with people who go, oh, I don't know, it's a little bit intimidating, or I'm not really sure. But I would say from the very first moment I stepped foot on a snowboard, even though I fell a ton and it was super hard and I was using a pulley rope system, I was like, this is so cool that I don't have to be I don't know, bored in winter, or that like there's so much winter accessible activity that's just pure joy and pure fun. And I'm a lifer now, obviously. It's so great. But yeah, I totally sympathize with people who are unsure. So that new Ski AB project to me has been super inspiring, just to see how many people are willing to go, yeah, I'm going to give this a go, even though I'm not sure about it yet.
That's it. I mean, next to inspiring, we want to inspire you to get on the road and check out new places, but we also want to inspire our community and those that are within the SnowSeeker circle to just get outside and enjoy winter, man. It's too long as 6 months with doom and gloom of the gray clouds and this and that. Just get out here and look at how awesome it is. You're going to make new friends. You're going to find new connections. You're going to learn more new things about yourself. You're going to challenge yourself in a new way. And man, you're going to have a smile on your face. And people are going to be like,
Yeah.
why are you so happy?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's obvious. I mean, look around. It's awesome out here. We do have space for one more memorable moment from the SnowSeekers 15 years. Doc Pow, anything else coming to mind?
Oh, 100%. We got to give a shout out to the team at Shred Kelly. I got a shirt on or the sweater on for a good reason. I mean, over the 15 years, I don't know if I have enough hands over 20 times to go through the amount of people that I've had a chance to connect with and the cool souls that are behind bands like Shred Kelly. If you don't know them, punch them up. Shred Kelly, they're out of Stoke Folk Band out of Fernie. Tim delivered pizza for 10 years in Fernie so that he could shred the pow every day and then get up on stage and strum his banjo and throw out the Stoke folk that they do. So I got to give a shout out to those guys. And I got to give a shout out to the team here, Stevie, Jeremy, Madeline, all of our contributors like Wheeler. There's a lot of us that are behind the scenes that you guys might not know about who are out here pumping the awesome so that you're connected to the POW. So I got to do a shout out to my own team. And I got to do a shout out to all those flying souls who've had the ultimate pleasure, or we've had the ultimate pleasure of covering who they are and why they're so passionate about the winter. So, man, that's why we've got, I think, 1,400 pages of content on SnowSeekers now. Like, there's a lot of stories. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of inspiration there. So go get it. Get the POW.
Yeah, you're totally right. And like, every ski season needs a playlist. I'm glad you had the shout out to Shred Kelly, because we've got our 2023-2024 playlist about to launch here. That's all from the SnowSeekers community. So thousands of SnowSeekers, giving us their top tracks that they shred to, or that they get in the flow to, or that gets them hyped up on the way to the hill. So it's pretty exciting. 15 years, and we have this amazing SnowSeekers community that's all just involved in the same mission of getting out there, enjoying the ski community, enjoying winter, and just having an awesome time in Western Canada during the season.
I'm glad you brought up the playlist thing, Stevie, because it's all about the more cowbell. I mean, this time of year, you just got to make sure that you punch up a lot of those tunes. Just search up more cowbell. It's like a playlist with all cowbell songs. It'll bring your heart some joy on big snow days like today.